What is good? We got a full house here, man. Obviously, myself, Youcapper, Ronald Bang, your host today, and we got a full house. Like I said, we got Crispy Capping, we got Jay Money in the building, Mitch and KC all stopping here to drop some plays, drop some knowledge, and talk over some games today. NBA lately, especially with the injuries and all that stuff, is stuff we need to consider before we make bets. And today is no different. We see some guys questionable all over the place. Fox questionable. We got who is it? Robert Williams too as well. We've seen him pop up in the game time decisions department. So a lot of things we need to be worried about. But hopefully we get some cash today. Jay, I know you've been busy. You got a show coming up as well. You only got a few minutes with us. Anything to drop before you got to bounce?
Man, apparently that's all I do is shows, man. I guess that's all I'm good for these days, man. But yeah, I mean, I got a couple of plays, man. It's a lot of good looks on the card. It's just about what I want to put my hard-earned money on, right? So with Lean Kings plus the 5, I do think that Fox is gonna play. Gotta look towards the Bucks in a bounce back spot, first half and full game in that one. And I'll be watching that Pelicans Jazz pretty closely as well. Obviously, those two teams play again in a couple of days, so in the same arena. So I always like watching those games, having an angle for the next game. And yeah, Robert Williams, I don't think I'd love for him to play, but I don't think he's close to being ready. But we'll see. If he's in, you got to look towards them C's, man, if they got an actual center.
Yeah, exactly. I think one thing I know, I watched your show earlier. I know you like the Bucks here, and I think us here in the panel as well. We also like the Bucks. We can actually just go into that one a little bit. Chris, you wanna talk about some numbers and stats that you kind of look for in this game?
Yeah, for sure. I got a question for Jay too, real quick.
Yes,
I see he said that he liked the Kings plus the 5 in that spot. Jay, what you feel? How you see that game playing out? You think it's a high scoring game, or you think the Kings play their defense, bring some of that defense that they've been playing with recently, and kind of slow the tempo down, and it's an under type game, or you looking towards an over if you think the Kings gonna win?
I'll be perfectly honest, bro. The totals, it's not my forte, is what some people would say, but it's not my thing, bro. I'd like to say I'd lean to the under because this is how I look at it, bro. Mike Brown is a really good defensive coach. I like the culture that he's bringing to the team. You have to come into the game saying, look, we got to stop Joel Embiid, simple, or let him get his points and let's stop everybody else, right? So obviously Sabonis can't go up against Embiid, so I don't know, bro. I would like to say under because if it's going over, it's a high pace team. It's probably not good for the Kings. They've been winning with defense, in my opinion. But like I say, I think Fox comes back as well, and it'll also affect the total. So it's hard for me, but I can't really. I'm not a total expert at all, Chris. You know,
Right? No. I know you don't like totals. I was just thinking more so like, do you think it's gonna be a lower scoring game, or do you think because the Kings when they're at home, they go over the total because their offense is one of the top 5 offensively rated. But when they're on the road, they typically try to bring their defense because they don't score as many points, and their offense takes a step back. So I was just wondering how you thought that, play out from not a totals perspective, but if you thought it'd be high scoring, maybe 130, 125, or if you thought it'd be, a lower scoring game, maybe 115, 105, 110, something like that.
Yeah, I'd be looking towards under. Obviously, if Fox does play, you probably want to wait on the total as well because if you do like the under, it's going to shoot up as well. But yeah, I heavily lean Kings plus the 5 in that one. I think I'm going to personally – it wasn't nothing official for me, but I think I'm going to personally sprinkle a little something on the Kings in that one, especially when you look at the fact that they only lost by 2 to them the last time out. So maybe they're teetering on a win versus the Sixers in that one, and they definitely have the coach to do it now, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay. I mean, for me, Jay, I think you're pretty spot on with the total because I took the under. I took the under in that game. Okay. I took it because there's one thing that you mentioned was is De'Aaron Fox going to be playing and how that affects the total. If he's in, obviously the total is going to go up. If he's out, it might go down back to where it opened, which was 227.5. And right now, even if Fox does come in, he's playing hobbled, obviously. And that's going to, even if it affects the total from a book standpoint, I think it still stays under the current number. So I would much rather just take it now than later, because if I get 227.5 and that half point or whatever matters, then I'm going to be pissed about it. But even if he's in, I still like it to go under the current number. So I ended up just taking it 229. And I believe it's coming down a little bit too at the current moment. I think I'm seeing 228.5 and stuff like that. But there's a lot of things to me pointing to the under. Six 7-2 to the under at home when the total is greater than 220, because I mean, obviously they play a slow pace, especially with Embiid. So these higher totals, they're going under them. 6-1 to the under when they play at least the second home game in a row. So they're comfortable in their home court. They play a lot better defense. And then the Sixers, like Chris said, they don't play well on the road. 7-2 to the under as road dogs. 6-2 to the under against non-conference opponents on the road. So when they head out to the East, they're struggling offensively there. So to me, a lot of things are pointing to the under, and that's why I took it in that way. I don't know if I'm gonna get there with the Kings, but I was leaning in that direction as well.
I think Fox gonna play. I don't see why he wouldn't play. He practiced in full yesterday as well. That's what somewhat like when you follow the beat writer, sometimes you can kind of get ahead of the curve as well. So I do think
they're on that back-to-back though too, right? And they got Raptors coming up tomorrow.
Oh, they'll get smoked tomorrow.
That's what I was just about to ask you, Jay.
It's going to be lay all your chips in today. And
y'all know how I like to look at. Y'all know how I like to look ahead. I'm like, okay, Fox coming back today, and then they probably go get smoked tomorrow versus the Raptors. And Raptors coming in super pissed as well. So I just looked at it. I'm like, yeah, you want to take the Kings today. Today will be their day to go all out. Tomorrow, I think they're gonna get smoked by 20 points. So that's what I see happening.
It looks like. I mean, yeah, I took Magic against the Raptors twice in a row, just because of the length that the Magic have to match up with the Raptors. They don't. I mean, to me, I don't think that the Kings have that, so they should be able to take advantage of that matchup tomorrow. I am with you guys on that for tomorrow's matchup for sure. Going back to the Bucks, I know you were looking at the Bucks. I don't know if you went official with it, Jay, but I'm with you on the Bucks. I believe Chris and Mitch are as well. A lot of things are pointing to the Bucks. Not only, I think at some point we talked about this before the show. Some of the guys talked about it before the show, but at some point the Warriors are gonna turn around on the road. But I think it would be much more towards a lower tier team than with the Bucks. Bucks, they just dominate at home, especially with these lower lines. 11-3-2 ATS when favored by less than 7 points, and when they're at home and favored by 7 or less, 8-1 ATS. And also if they're against a non-conference opponent, so a team coming from the West going to their house, 6-0-1 ATS. So there's a lot of things for me pointing towards the Bucks here, and obviously all the fade stats that you could think of on the road for the Warriors. Mitch, what are your thoughts on this one? I think you had some looks as well on this one.
Yeah, I had a couple of looks, just trends for this year. We got a 3-10 ATS Warriors away, 2-4 as away dog. They're 2-4 ATS with the rest advantage. 4-9 after a win. On the other hand, you got Bucks 4-2-1 with rest disadvantage. 10-5 home fave, 4-2 after an L. So, it's looking like a bounce back, get right spot for the Bucks. It's a little bit of a sneaky spot. They're coming home, going away, or sorry, they're away, they're coming home, then they're jumping right back on the road again. I think that's why the line is a little bit shorter with the Warriors struggling away, but I think they get the job done. I'd be interested to hear Jay's looks on why he's on first half, but I just think they get the job done full game.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts? The strength of the Bucks here in the first half, Jay?
Well, you got to come out hot in this one. In the bounce back Jay spot, you got to come out hot, especially at the house as well. When you're the home team and you play a lot better at home, that means you're feeding off that energy of the home crowd as well. And the opposite as well on the Warriors. We got to look. I'm trying to figure this thing out. Why has this team been so bad on the road, right? And like Ronald, you nailed it. They're going to stack up some wins versus the lower tier teams. Maybe not one of the top two teams over there in the Eastern Conference who also plays really well at the house. So I don't know if it's energy that affects the Warriors offense. They're not coming out as juiced up. Well, I mean, the offense is always there. It's the defense that they're not playing on the road, in my opinion. So obviously, if they come in here and play championship style defense, they might have a good chance to win. But I don't see it happening. And could be a game where missing Wiggins could really show up as well, going up against whoever he was going to guard. It's going to make a difference. Didn't matter at home versus Celtics, but it's definitely going to matter here on the road. You got the Bucks coming off that double dip. They went now. This is something I'm starting to look at more and more this past year. We want to back these teams that's coming off a game where they were favored by double digits and ended up losing, right? That's exactly what we had with the Heat yesterday. They had lost their game to the Spurs as 12-point favorites. It's kind of like you feel some type of way about yourself. Man, we just lost to this trash-ass team. We got to come out here and start early and often. Let's just build a lead. That way we won't have to play from behind here. So I'll be honest, I actually think the Bucks first half is a little bit better look than the full game, especially since they're at the rest disadvantage as well. And when you look at it, the Warriors going somewhat not far East Coast, but it's still going over a couple of time zones here as well. So what do we see versus Charlotte? First time Warriors did that this so far this season. They got smoked in the first half, and I heard Steve Kerr say sometimes it can be tough when you're going from West Coast to East Coast. So I think I want to fade the Warriors here early and often. I think the Bucks get it done full game as well. But I'll be honest, like first quarter, first half might be even a little bit better looks for the Warriors coming off the West Coast. They're playing a super early game as well. And you get the letdown spot coming off Celtics. Celtics win, and you get the bounce back J spot with the Bucks coming off their Rockets loss.
They are also sorry, Ronald, one quick one. They are also, what's it called? Warriors are got to look ahead again. You know, it is only the Pacers, but they just got smacked up at the house by the Pacers. So, you know, they're back to back. They're playing Pacers tomorrow. You know, if they're down late in the third, late in the fourth, they might just wrap it up and say, let's get a W tomorrow. So
and it's interesting because you mentioned the Warriors defense. I was looking at how they do going from a home game to a road game. They're allowing over 123 points per game on the road to these teams, and you're looking at the Hornets here. You're looking at the Rockets. You know what I mean? Like these are teams that you wouldn't really expect them to really turn up in this spot, but you know they're just giving up a lot of points. Then you're losing Wiggins, who's probably, I would say, one of your better perimeter defenders at this point. So sure. I could definitely see the Bucks putting up a lot of points here as well. So I ended up taking the Bucks as well. I know it was at 3.5 earlier, but I ended up taking it at -4. I didn't want to wait. I think it's going to continue to go in that direction, especially if Drew gets announced in. Thoughts, Chris?
We need him, Chris.
Yeah, we do need him. All hands on deck, man. If you're trying to beat this Golden State team, because just in case they did, you know, turn the proverbial corner, right? And we haven't seen their defense, play as well. Even the most dominant game that the Golden State Warriors have played so far on the road this season has been the game against the Timberwolves. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was about 2 weeks ago. Smacked the Timberwolves up. We're winning by 20 points at the end of the first quarter. I think they scored 80 in the first half in that game. But their defense still wasn't playing well. They were just hitting 75% of their field goals, which is absurd, right? So I don't think the defense travels. I do think you look at this Bucks team, they hang their hat on the defensive end. I also think, Jay always talk about a look-ahead spot. I think that Houston Rockets game on a sleepy Sunday spot, it was a look-ahead spot to the Golden State Warriors, and I think that, nationally televised game tonight, I think I can only look towards the Bucks as well. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think so. Yeah, we're pretty much aligned on that one. What about, I know you guys were talking about this right before the show. I didn't really have that great of a look, but the Phoenix Suns versus the Houston Rockets, you guys were kind of looking at them pretty early in this one, early and often for these guys, for the Suns to kind of bounce back here. Chris, you wanna take that on?
Yeah, and it was more so. So the line opened at 5.5, total at 226. I think the money's come in on the under, which is a sneaky spot. The Rockets last 2 weeks at home specifically have the 11th best defensive rating, which is, I think, something that people are not paying too much attention to. But for me, this more of a bounce back spot as well too in this spot, Ronald. So third straight home game, third straight road game for the Suns out of a 5-game road trip coming off. They lost 4 in a row, 5 of the last 6, only 1-3 against the spread, revenge and losses this season, but they've already lost to this Houston Rockets team. It was a early, I think it was 2 weeks ago, 1 day rest for both teams. To me, it just feels like a bounce back spot. If you look at these games, because I watched these, especially these Suns game recently, pretty closely. RC, one of the things I'm looking at is the Suns. They've been coming out with something early, right? They won the first quarter against the New Orleans Pelicans twice, right? They won both of those first quarters. They got smacked up against Boston in the first quarter last week, but they're winning the first quarter. Both games, RC, both previous games for the Pelicans against the Pelicans, they lost the third quarter. They gave up 35 points on the Friday game. They gave up 40 points on the Sunday game in the third quarter specifically. So it's not necessarily the first half. It's more so the second half where they can't seem to hold on to the game. So for me, it'd be looking at Phoenix early in this one, you know, to kind of get that monkey off their back. Like Jay said, you want to establish yourself. Typically, when teams go down early in games, it takes too much energy to try to muster up, you know, and you know, try to come from behind. You don't see that too often. And the longer the game goes on, the more you give the other team hope. So I think you come out here, you put your foot on you know, the Rockets' necks early, and go ahead and cover the first quarter. It was at 1.5 earlier, as we've been talking. I think it kind of moved to 2.5 on some books for plus money.
Yeah, I want to get you guys talking because you know, obviously Phoenix with Chris Paul, usually they play a slower pace. Usually they play better defense as well. But lately, the last few games, they've been giving it up. Like, do you guys expect that to kind of change at this point, or do you think they're gonna turn it around pretty soon with Chris Paul kind of getting his legs back under him? Maybe, I don't know. Because to me, I was looking at the Rockets team total over. I feel like they should be able to bounce back offensively. If Phoenix continues to play bad defense, and Houston coming off of a game where they only scored like less than 100 points, I don't know. To me, it seems like they can at least score 110, 115, like 110, between the 110 and 115 range, and that would put them over their team total.
So we kind of chopped it up about that already. I see. I want to get Jay thoughts on that. Jay, what you think about the team total? You know, the Houston Rockets scoring their team total against the Phoenix Suns, and it feels like a bounce back spot where they try to bring something on the defensive end. What you think, Jay?
Yeah, I feel like if the Suns gonna bounce back here, they're probably gonna do it with defense. Personally, I probably wouldn't take Rockets team total over. They are in a groove right now, so don't get it twisted. They are playing some good basketball, but when you look at the Suns, when you look at when they have great games, right? What are they doing? They're locking you up defensively. The Rockets, this is how I look at this team, because if a really good defense comes in there and they get locked up, they'll kind of start throwing up threes. You see what I'm saying? If they're going in, good, but most of the time they're not, because they're contested threes. So I'd like to stay away unless I like the Rockets to like cover this game or think that they can win the game. Personally, I'd stay away from team total. They are playing a lot better, but when you look at the Suns, this is a top tier team in my opinion. No matter what's going on with Aiden and the coach and all, it's still a top tier team. So I think I'd be taking first quarter. If I'm betting this game, I'm taking Suns first quarter. Chris talked it out really nice, and it's a good point as well. You want to establish yourself early, especially when you've been losing. You want to hop out on this team. The Rockets, their team, you can hop out on and really put them away early, and their offense can literally just totally change. If you punch them in the mouth first, their defense will their offense will literally just it will like sputter. So I'd be looking at Suns first quarter. I think that's a good look by Chris there.
Yeah, I know, Mitch. I know you had some stats on that first quarter as well, right? You were leaning in that direction as well.
Yeah, I was leaning. And just more so, just elaborating on what Greg Wilson said in the chat. He's got a 6-2 ATS first quarter for Suns' last 8. Their 2 losses are coming against the Celtics, who are the best first quarter team in the league. Even with the last 2 games where they've gone smacked up, and against the Mavs, who are a great first quarter team, especially at home. So. It's looking good. It's looking tight, and the only 2 L's that are coming that way are from 2 top tier teams that usually dominate in that set of the game. So
yeah, real quick, Jay, man, thank you, bro. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know you gotta hop onto your next show. Always appreciate you coming on. Always working with you is always fun to do. I know. Hopefully, we can get you on a couple more times. You know, moving forward, I mean, as much as you want, just like how I always want to be on your show, man. Like, I would always love to have you on my show as well.
This shit fun. It's fun, bro. I like talking out plays. I like how we all bouncing thoughts off each other. I like the looks, man, to be honest with you. So I think I'm probably going to sprinkle some person on that Suns first quarter. Chris has basically talked me into it. I like it. It's a bounce back spot as well. And in theory, a letdown spot for the Rockets there. So let's hope that Drew Holiday plays in this freaking game, man. I like Bucks early and often. Should be a trifecta spot, in my opinion, man. Let's cash. I appreciate y'all. Mitch, Chris, Ronald, I'll come on. I'll try to come on at least another time this week for sure.
Yeah. Guys. I'll always be sending you that link. You always have the link. All right, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man. Let's cash.
Let's cash, bro.
All right, Chris and Mitch. So we talked about Kings, Sixers, Warriors, Bucks, Suns, Rockets. All right, so this one I didn't I didn't really cap this game that much, so maybe we try to live cap this one. You guys want to do that with the Jazz? All right, let's do this one.
And one quick one, I just threw in the chat for that Suns game. My favorite prop of the night is Bridges threes over 2.5. He took 13 threes last game without Booker. He went 5 of 13. You're gonna get plus 130, plus 135, plus 125, anywhere in that range for over 2.5 on Mikal Bridges. So that's my favorite one for the day.
That's a good look, man. He's throwing
I love that look, Mitch.
13 plus attempts. Yeah. Makes
a lot of that look, Mitch. Yeah.
Oh shit, what I have double. All right, so we got the Pelicans and Jazz game. So I mean, I like I said, I didn't really cap this one. I think initially Pelicans are just playing really well right now, and then Jazz as dogs have been pretty good as well, especially at home. So it kind of canceled each other out initially, and I just didn't really want to rock with it or like take time to really look into it. And then they play each other back-to-back games, so it's almost like why don't we just see what happens the first game and then take action on the second game? But do you guys have anything on this one?
So let me give you some foundational points, RC. When I was looking at this game last night, first thing that I looked at was how well the Pelicans have been playing recently. They're killing it. 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread last 10.
Yep.
But a lot of those games have come out, and I think they got the best record in the Western Conference too, especially with the Phoenix Suns kind of sputtering recently.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. They're on top of the leaderboard.
Right. Zion won player of the week, averaging 30, yada yada yada. But they've been at home. They were at home all last week. They beat the Pistons on Sunday, and then they had a bunch of days off, and they had the Phoenix Suns come into town, and they beat them twice over the course of last week. But on the road specifically, RC. They're 6 and this is a counter narrative to just blindly taking the Pelicans today. They are only 6-5 ATS on the road, 4-2 as away favorites, both straight up and against the spread, 4-2 to the over as well. They have covered 5 of their last 6 overall, but coming off 2 really emotional, energy emotional type games against the Phoenix Suns. Against the Phoenix Suns. Also, you get them traveling now where they're not as good. They're still without Brandon Ingram, even though they do get Herb Jones back. We know a lot of role players typically play better at home. I'm talking about guys like Dyson Daniels. I'm talking about guys like, Najee Marshall. Like those guys, typically going to play better.
Alvarado, Murphy.
Right. All of those guys, right? Alvarado, Murphy, all those guys. They are still 5th rated defensively. Looking at this game, the thing that made it difficult for me, RC, was looking at who the Pelicans actually played over the last 2 weeks on the road. Like their defensive numbers that look good, but they haven't played against really stiff opponents. They played the Spurs twice, and they played the Grizzlies. They played the Grizzlies, and they lost that game against the Grizzlies. So one thing I was looking at, RC, is like these teams that have been at home for a long period of time, and they've been home favorites, right? And then they have to go on the road. They don't typically play well in that spot every single time. So that kind of makes me think about the Jazz, but I'm not official in this game. 2 examples I want to give you in that specific moment, though, RC.
So real quick, that loss to the Grizzlies, they didn't have CJ.
Right. They didn't have CJ. He was out with COVID, right? So what 2 examples I'm thinking of really quickly, RC, of just like defensive teams specifically that don't bring it on the road after having a nice home stand at home and playing well. So think about the Toronto Raptors, right? The Raptors just beat up on the Lakers, and then they beat up on another team right before that when they were home favorites. They go to Orlando and they lose twice, right, on the road. Then another example, think about a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers. At home last week, played really, really well, right? Pretty much against every single team besides the loss to the Kings. They go on the road yesterday and they lose outright to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. What do you think about this? So I'm looking at how they travel from home to road, right? And I'm looking at how they do on their team total. They're 3-1 to the over on their team total, but this game here that they went under, they're basically dominating that game. So maybe they just mailed it in. My bad. Do you guys hear that static?
Yeah.
Mitch, does your yeah.
So 3-1 to the team total over, right? And they went under on this one by 3 points, but it could have been because it was just out of reach and they kind of just mailed it in. We're like, I don't need to score anymore to take finish this game off. So and we know the Jazz, they don't play that much defense, but they play a fast pace. Would we just look towards the kind of the Pelicans team total and not really focus in on what happens with the spread?
I think so, RC. I think that's the reason why we've seen the line move, right? I think this one opened at like 231. It quickly shot up. Like last night, as soon as it opened, it was already up to like 233 and a half, 234. So I think that money probably did come in on the Pelicans team total to go over. You look at this Jazz team, 27th defensively at home over the last 2 weeks. They are 11th rated offensively over the last 2 weeks at home as well. So it's a lot of points. And, everything kind of leads towards the over specifically. And you think about an individual player, a guy like Zion, who was player of the week last week. They have no matchup for him at all. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to guard him? Like Jared Vanderbilt?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's where we were leading, right? We couldn't find an angle on this game. We were having trouble finding, a side. So we just started digging into little props and edges, and one of the edges that we just kept finding is how the heck is Utah going to stop these guys?
To your point too, Mitch. This is the first time this is the second time that these two teams played. RC, the first one went to overtime. I was on the Pelicans in that game. It was their first home game of the season back before we knew the Utah Jazz were good. Right? I don't know if y'all remember that. Right? Like, and the Pelicans won that game 122. I'm sorry, the Jazz won that game 122 to 121, and it went to overtime all the way back on October 23rd. So, yeah, extremely difficult game to cap. I know that the Jazz do get their guys back. Like Lauri Markkanen is not on the injury report. I think Mike Conley's going to be in. Jordan Clarkson's not on the injury report. So they should be at full strength. And, we just kind of get this Pelicans team to see if their offensive rating and defensive rating more so than anything else, because I think if they win this game, it's going to be because of their defense, especially being shorthanded without Brandon Ingram on the road.
Yeah. And so I'm looking at these games here as far as like, cause if we're going to focus on the Pelicans team total. So I'm looking at these here. There were 3-2 to the over for the opponent's team total when the Jazz are home dogs. So we're not focusing in on the spread anymore, right? We're just focusing in on the team total. So this one was a quick revenge game. And then Grizzlies didn't have Bane or Jaren Jackson here. This one was just the first game of the season. Kind of want to throw that one out. So for the most part, we are seeing the other team kind of getting there over the team total in these home dog situations, even though the Jazz do cover them. So
RC, what screen you on? Because your screen not moving on our side. We got season equals 20 greater than equal to 2020.
I thought I was showing my screen the whole time.
Nah, we don't see it.
It must have been stuck. Hold on 1 second. My bad. I thought I was sharing the screen the whole time.
So good, bro. That's why it's called Let's Cap, man. Everything is live.
All right, let's see. All right, you see that now?
Yeah, you good money now.
Okay, yeah.
Jazz
so
and home dogs.
That's why I stayed off is because it's how they do it as home dogs. But they do give up points still. They're 3-2 to the over. Opponents are 3-2 to the over on their team total. Where is Ski? I gave him the link. 3-2.
Said he just came back to life, RC.
He must be on the show with Jay later. But this game here, like I said, this is quick revenge here. Jazz came back, played some defense. Grizzlies didn't have Bane or Jaren Jackson in that game either. And then this first game here, I kind of just want to toss that out the window just because it was the first game of the season. No one really knew what to expect from the Jazz. I think the Nuggets were thinking that they're going to walk over these guys, just like everyone else thought they were going to walk over them earlier in the season. So, yeah. But yeah, so I think that's the way that I want to lean. 233.5 is the total, plus 2.5 for the Jazz here. I just don't want to step in front of the Pelicans. You know what I mean? Because they just been playing so well. So just focusing in on what I feel like they can do, which is get to the paint and score against this team that doesn't really play defense. Anything else to add? Prop perspective or anything, Mitch? I think you're
on this game. The only thing I'm really liking, like we talked about earlier, is Zion. I'm seeing a KC in the chat. She's looking over at Payne. Payne's a sneaky play. He's probably going to be coming off the bench today. One thing that I do really like is Torrey Craig PRA. Torrey Craig PRA was doing really well without CP3 in the lineup. And now without Booker, there's somebody that's going to need to take those shots. And someone's going to be playing defense, especially if Bridges is going to be the main perimeter defender on the perimeter. Ayton's going to need some help grabbing some boards. So I'm liking Torrey Craig PRA. And yeah.
Ski, I sent you the link too. Check the chat.
All right. It was perfect timing if he comes in because we're going to talk about the Lakers.
Yeah. He said he was going to look for the link. I sent it to him.
All right, let's move on to that game. So I would say, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Would you guys play that team total over? What do you?
I think I look at it a little bit more, I see, but you are definitely trending in the right direction. Jazz don't play defense at home, man. I just talked about it. 27th defensively at home over the last 2 weeks. So they just typically try to outscore you. You see they're scoring 122 points per game, but they're not winning by margin.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be the way I look too.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one. Let's go with the Lakers. Lakers Celtics here. Man, Celtics looks like they're turning the other way here.
Some regression.
Yeah,
to my bankroll too. Yeah, my bankroll got some regression, I see.
I had to, like you said, man, the under has been pretty good. So let's look at the Celtics real quick. Just kind of show you why the under has been, or how the under has been going. But Celtics on the road, 3-12 on the season, under in what is this? 10 straight?
9, got to be 9, right?
9 straight, 9 straight unders. So kind of been some of us have been hitting this under with the Celtics here.
It's 10 straight, RC, because there's only 2 others up there. Yeah, it's 10. So
one thing is obviously this Celtics just struggling offensively on the road here, leading to helping lead to the under. But I know, YBB, one of our buddies here, kind of mentioned to a point towards the over when teams play the Clippers and the Celtics back to back. Clippers and the Lakers back to back. They tend to go over. So I just want to bring that up real quick. So PO team equals. Actually, I have it right up there. So right now, if we look at. So obviously we see Clippers yesterday. Celtics saw Clippers yesterday. They're going to play the Lakers today, both in LA. So far this season, teams in that spot: 1-4 ATS, 1-4 straight up, 3-2 to the over. And I was actually looking toward the under, but this one, I feel like there's like different spots here where obviously. So this one went over because it went into OT. This one went over only by 1.5. So. To me, I still like the underlook with how Celtics are playing on the road. But, I mean, this is a good point. Like, what do you guys think about this? We talked about it before the show. The NBA has been scheduling this and kind of giving these wins towards the Lakers here on these back-to-back games. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the only thing to mention in this one, RC, is probably that for the Lakers just went out east for the first time all season. So if you look at those games there, the Lakers were at home for all of those games. So, just kind of even more rested versus having to travel back from Detroit like they did on Sunday. So I think, this one is a tad bit different in that aspect of, the Lakers not being extremely rested in this spot, which probably leads to even more points. Like I said, all those other games, those games that you see up there, I see the Lakers were at the crib chilling. Like, you know what I mean? But for this one, they did have to come back from Detroit on Sunday. So that's the thing I look at. I'd also look at how the Lakers do from traveling from road to home, RC. Like, how do they typically do when they're traveling from road to home?
For the Lakers?
Yeah, how do the Lakers do when they're traveling from road to home?
Lakers. Here's our boy Ski. What up, Ski?
Ski, I see Ski got the shirt on. Okay, what we doing with that, Ski?
I just got dressed, man. That's all.
It's just a little kawinky dink, huh?
That's it. Nothing major. No, I made a few plays on all the games though. So
did you have anything on this Lakers game?
Yeah. I like the side, but I was thinking about the total too. I heard you talking a little bit about the over just now, right?
Well, I know YBB dropped the trend on the over, but I was looking towards the under. I think Celtics, as on the road, just been such a like a cash cow with the under. I just wanted to continue rolling with it. Were you going on the over?
If I had to play, I think I'll play the over just because I know the Lakers been playing fast.
Yeah.
Last 5 games, top 5 in pace. And Boston, they love to play up tempo too and just jack threes. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. And also just how poor they played yesterday. I just think they have to bounce back. That offense has been too good to look like that 2 days in a row. So that was my only opinion. But I like the side, and my reason for liking the side is, one, the Lakers. It's their first game home after coming off that long road trip. I think it was like 6 games. They haven't been home all of December, and then they play this one game, and then they get 2 days off after. So players come home, they got to get with their family, got a bunch of stuff they got to do since they ain't been here. So teams in that spot since the past 3 years, you could type it in. I know you're doing it. This is the Less Cap show. So
yeah.
If they were home,
3 years,
I mean, if they were on the road for 5 games and then now they're home, I think it goes back. You could put season equal or greater than 2019. It should produce 40.2%, which is a fade for the Lakers. And that's one reason why I like that side. And for the Celtics, really, I just feel like it's a spot where they just kind of got embarrassed. And so they got to respond. I was looking at road favorites after a loss versus lesser opponents that's, less than 45% win teams that just won their previous game. So one team is going to be angry off a loss and one team is satisfied with the win and they're not even that good. Yeah. And then I just typed in, if you just put that in, I mean, you get, I think it's 64.7%, and that's going all the way back to 20.12. That's against the spread.
Hold on, real quick, just for the viewers here. So what I did here is what Ski said, since 2019, teams at home off of a road streak, road site streak of five games or more. So if they've been on the road for 5 games or more, coming home off of that, pretty much a fade spot. So 56, 78, and 1 ATS since 2019. That's a 41.8 win percentage for the home team. So pretty much fading the Celtics on that spot. And then the one that you just mentioned was, could you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
I'll read it to you how we know.
Fading the Lakers, RC, in that spot.
Yeah, fading the Lakers.
So put a road favorite and then put previous loss and then opponent previous win and season equal or greater than 2012. We'll start there and then we'll just build it as we go.
Okay. So teams going in the opposite direction, right? And then you're seeing the road favorite in that spot. Okay, that makes sense.
And then you can also add in that, if they're playing a lesser competition team, and to me, that means an opponent with less than 45% win percentage.
Damn,
and it goes up a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you got to look at this spot and say, Boston played yesterday. Are they going to be tired? Blah, 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 blah. So put they're at a rest disadvantage. So rest, I don't got to tell you.
Yeah. Damn, Ski. Dropping some gems here. Oh, shit.
And then if you just look at a little bit more recently, since like 2017, I think it's 2017 and towards the end of October, it goes to 33-8 against the spread. So that says play the Celtics tonight, and that turns it to almost like 80% if you cherry pick a little bit,
Yeah.
Damn.
That's some good shit.
It's a way you can build some of these queries. So I'm fading the Lakers, man. I got the shirt on. I told you I just got dressed, man.
That shirt don't mean nothing, huh, bro?
What up, Wham?
Hey, Wham, how you feel about that, Wham? How you feel about fading the Lakers tonight, Wham?
Hey, I'm not doing it in the first half, but I definitely agree with the full game spot.
See, Wham know what to do. Get in and get out.
Yeah. Get in and get out with them, bro. I'm riding the first half streak with them and the Rockets. Paul Silas, son is gonna be coaching for the Rockets, so They're already 9-1 ATS in the first half, so we're going that for that. But I agree, bro. Fade the Lakers, man.
Fade the Lakers today. See, I needed someone to talk me into it because Mitch and Chris know I was trying to get myself into this Celtics play earlier. I couldn't do it, but now with Ski and Wham coming in here and talking about it, makes me like it a little bit more. What do you think about that first quarter? The first quarter jacked me yesterday, but a lot of the numbers point towards Celtics kind of bouncing back here.
I hopped on that first quarter, RC. Just looking over a lot of the stats from the last 10 games, offensive and defensive ratings.
Yeah.
We're looking at Celtics, they're fourth in offensive rating, second in defensive rating. We've got Lakers that are 28th in offensive rating last 10 games. This is all first quarter stats.
Yeah.
And seventh in defensive. 28th in offensive, seventh in defensive for Lakers. And it's a spot play too, right? They're the best first quarter team in the league. They've lost the last two first quarters. There's got to be some positive regression coming back. I hate to say, just hop on the Celtics because they're the Celtics, but at this point, when they're playing the way they're playing, and they're looking to bounce back, and they're playing against a Lakers team that doesn't defend the three ball very well. Lakers gave up 17 3-pointers last game, and they're giving up 16 over their last 3 games. I'm hopping on the Celtics today.
I like it. Yeah, they are giving up a lot of threes. 12 over 12 threes per game. Okay.
12 threes per game. What is it? Where is it? 15.7 over their last 3, 17 last game.
Yeah, they're just giving it up, aren't they? That makes a lot of sense. All right, so I think I'm gonna end up getting there then with the Celtics. I'm gonna ride with you guys.
Hey, it was something else the other day that I was trying to go back and find, and I could not find it, and it's my fault because it was the weekend, and you know how I get on the weekend.
But you gotta drink some water on the weekend, bro.
Some water.
You gotta drink some water.
But it was like the game when Celtics were supposed to play Golden State, right? What day was that? Saturday. And then they were already talking about these guys went the game versus the Lakers. Like they didn't even play that game yet. Yeah. And they still had the Clippers to play. I'm like, why did they want the game versus the Lakers so bad? And I was looking. I know the Lakers beat them last year, but are they holding that grudge? Like, why would they?
TNT game.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they didn't even play each other this season, so it's not like an in-season revenge.
I promise I heard it, and I didn't make it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna get there with the -3.5. The negative 3.5. Wait, I'm gonna get there with it. Okay.
I was able to get that first quarter at -112 for 0.5. So just that's what I was able to get that first quarter at.
That's money line.
That was it was either money. It was a money. No, it was if it tied, it was a -0.5.
Oh, -0.5. Okay. All right. Well, all right. For me, I'm gonna do. I got there with the Bucks, Kings, Sixers under, Celtics -3.5. That's the 3 games that I'm gonna be doing today. Anyone else want to drop your stuff?
Can you repeat? What was that? What was the 3? Sorry.
Bucks -4, Kings, Sixers under 229, and then Celtics -3.5.
You on the 2 plays that I kind of was leaning on, and I got to rewind the show. I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I'll drop. Let's do it real quick. I have them saved. Right here. Let's see. Kings, Sixers under. Kings 3-0 to the under. First leg of back-to-back games. 7-2 to the under as road dogs. 6-2 to the under on the road versus non-conference opponents. So heading out to the East. On the Sixers side, 5-2 to the under at home. When the total is greater than 220, so high totals, they're not getting over those. 6-1 to the under when playing at least a second home game in a row, so they get comfortable defensively when they're at home, like on a homestand. So that got me to the Sixers under. The Bucks ATS, Bucks 11-3-2 ATS when favored by less than 7 points. If you include that they're at home, 8-1 ATS. If you include that they're non-conference opponents, 6-0-1 ATS. 5-1 straight up, 4-2 ATS following a loss. one of the games that they did lose, they didn't have Drew or Middleton. Warriors, obviously a lot of fade on the road. So 2-11 straight up, 3-10 ATS on the road, including if they're a non-conference opponent, 0-4 straight up, 0-4 ATS. Back-to-back games, 1-4 ATS, 0-4 if they're on the road on back-to-back games. So or even traveling from home to road, 2-5 straight up and 2-5 ATS. So a lot of things just pointing in those directions and got me there.
Sounds good. I don't know if I heard the one thing that I shared with you guys. You know the next rest that supports your one play too.
Oh yeah. I remember that. What is it? NO.
I
got it right here. I see.
And roll,
yeah. Away teams playing on the first leg of a back-to-back are 83-53 and 61% to the under. And then if they're away teams, they are 54-28 and 66% to the under.
Mm-hmm. And that's the Kings tonight. So that's why I was trying to get on it, but that's all I really had. So hearing you have some other stuff, give me a little bit more confidence to play it.
Yeah, those are going to be the ones that I'm on. Chris, you want to drop any?
Yeah, I'm on. You talked me on to the Bucks, RC. So I'm on the Bucks with you. You also talked me on to what an under. We were both leaning towards the under, so I'm on the under in that Kings game as well. And then the Phoenix Suns game, I'm on the -1.5 in the first quarter. Get right spot for the Suns in that spot.
All right, Mitch, and you want to drop any plays?
Yeah. I tailed you last night on your Kings. I was able to get that under at 230. I think I'm gonna run with Chris on this Phoenix one. I got my Bucks at 3.5 last night, and I'm gonna roll with Mikal Bridges over 2.5 threes, plus 130 on the Phoenix game.
All right, Ski.
Well, I gave y'all the Celtics. We broke that one down. I am going to ride on that Kings one because I was already trying to play that under too. Yeah. So I'll stay with those two for right now.
Cool. Wham. You got any to drop?
Yeah, man. We're going to go back to the well with the Rockets in the first half at home, 9-1 ATS. Paul Silas, unfortunate, death pass, so the Sun plays today. I think they have a little motivation there. And then we're going back with the Lakers. Lakers the best first half team. I think they fizzle out in the second half. So I agree with the full game look, but the Lakers early, +2.
Real quick. Wham, you not going back to nothing else?
Jabari, man,
Jabari.
We did Jabari against the Suns once, and he did get it for us, but he's missed it the last 2 times. So I wouldn't be surprised if he cashed it at +36 today, but I'm gonna sit this one out today. I'm gonna sit it out.
Yeah, I saw 1.5 at -150 or something, and that was a little bit too much.
I'm gonna just let you guys know. I took them both. I made it a over 2 3-pointers. I took the +149 and the -155. So
hey, if you gonna play it now, I gotta play it, dog. I'll try to stay away from it, but I think I gotta play. What do you think, though, Munaf? I'm glad you popped in here, bro. This is your team.
Yeah, shout out to Munaf and Joey joining.
What are we doing
on, guys? What are y'all talking about?
Jabari threes, right?
Yeah, Jabari threes.
Trying to pull up the Phoenix's 3-point numbers.
They're 19th defending the 3.
Yeah,
they allow 36.1%, right? But they only give up 11 makes per game too. I know he hasn't hit him in last couple games, right? Wham.
Yeah, but he got it on the Suns last time they played the Suns.
Yeah,
he got
that was a road game too, right?
Exactly.
Hey,
yeah.
Jabari has went over 1.5, 19 out of 25 games this year. He's hit it 11 of the last 13 games, and he's hit the 2.5, 8 of his last 10 games. I'm not overthinking it, man. Suns 19th defending the 3. He's gonna be splashing. All right, give me at least 2, but give me 3 for real.
It was
another guy I saw with a lot of similar lines was Keegan Murray. He's hit 3 in I think 5 straight, and I think his line was at like 1.5 -175 or something like that. So that might be worth a 1.5, 2.5 kind of thing too.
I agree with that.
Mitch, did you want to say something about Jabari?
Oh no, just same old. I played the 150 at over 1.5, but other than that, I might join Ski on that on the 2.5.
All right, Munaf, we were just gonna close shot, but you want to drop any plays or Joey?
Yeah,
go ahead, Joey.
Answer about one real quick. So we got and I'm on Bucks first half. Right when I got in here, I heard Chris say he was on Bucks. You convinced him. You like the full game, or where'd you take them?
Chris dropped out. Well, I took the full game. A lot of things pointed to the full game for the Bucks. I didn't really focus in on the first half. I don't want to try to double dip. So I already took the full game. I'm just gonna stick with that.
Okay. I got first half light on the full game. I'm waiting on. I want to see what happens with Drew. I went light for now because if Drew doesn't play, I'll re-enter at the better number. But so we got Milwaukee as the number one defense, and you got Draymond Green, who, correct me if I'm wrong, he plays power forward, right? Like I know the type of offense, but he plays like a power forward, correct?
Yeah.
Bucks are number one at defending the power forward. Now you also got no Wiggins in the lineup. You got Poole, he's gonna shoot that bitch. So you got the number one defense versus power forwards, and now you got Poole, who's gonna be taking away shots at Draymond, and you got his points line juiced to the under. I feel like that's for a reason. I am I tripping with that? I know he's
who's points to the under, Poole or Draymond?
Draymond.
And
that's a good. I like it, Joey, especially with Draymond ain't gonna be making any jump shots, so who's in the paint waiting for him. To be honest.
Yeah, he's gonna do. I mean, depending on who's going to be guarding him, is he more going to be a facilitator? And we already know he's not going to shoot too often, and if he does, it's really not a high percentage, anyways.
But the main thing, foul trouble for this game too. He's just bulldozing in there. Already locked him up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the only way I see him hitting it is if Curry and Poole are getting swarmed with double teams, and Draymond's just the only option down low. But
or
if he takes the backpack off. If he takes the backpack off, he might go over
that. Did you have any plays?
Yeah, I got a couple player props already locked in for tonight. Joel Embiid was first one. Briefly talked about it in the group chat, but he's had a lot of success against this Kings team over the course of his career. And I gotta take a look at the numbers as well. Sacramento allows around 52.6 points inside the paint. They rank number 25 out of 30 teams. They also have trouble defending the 3-point line. So I feel like offensively, Philly should have a great game here tonight. But Joel Embiid, just in particular, if you kind of just look at his numbers against the Kings, except for that first game in his career, which was way back in 2016, his rebounding number is something that really sticks out to me. He's had 15, 17, 17, 16, 17, and 12 in that span in those 6 games against the Kings. So I was waiting for it to go to 10.5 at plus money. I locked that up around plus 115 over on his over rebounds. I'm sorry, 10.5. Also like his points here tonight. I don't think that Sabonis is going to be able to hold him. And even if he does, I think that Sabonis probably gets into foul trouble here tonight against Joel Embiid. And even if they do double team him, I think that the Kings are, like I said, they give up about, 36.7% as far as 3-point percentage allowed. So maybe if DeAnthony Milton is in, James Harden maybe has a great night as well. Also took James Harden's assist for tonight. Now it's at 9.5. Last 2 games, he's put up double-digit assists. Actually, 4 of the last 5 games he's actually played in, he's put up double-digit assists. But that goes all the way back to October. I know he had that month off with the injury. But and against the Kings, he's had a lot of success as well, dishing out assists. Oh, this is his first career game with the Sixers against the Sacramento Kings. But in 3 games, when he faced the Sacramento Kings against when he was with Brooklyn, he had 12 assists, 14 and 14. And in 2 of those 3 games, as a member of the Brooklyn Nets, he had a triple-double in those games as well. So those were a couple looks I was getting at. Want to get your guys' take on the side, though. I was leaning towards Philly. I I think Fox may go. Last report I did see that he did practice yesterday, but did you guys have a lean on the side?
For me, I was just leaning toward the Kings. But I'm not gonna put my money on it. I was just leaning in that direction. more so just the under for me. Anybody had a look on the side in here?
Are you worried at all about a look ahead spot for the Sixers? Or no?
That's a good question. I haven't seen who they were playing next.
They got the Warriors on deck on Friday. ESPN game, I think.
Yeah, I think usually when I see they have 2 days off in between games, I'm not too overly concerned about it. It feels like the next night or maybe like on a Thursday night game they now would be, but I think Philly's they've been playing better ball obviously since they got Harden back. I know it was against the Lakers and it was against the Charlotte Hornets, but I think that they can take care of business tonight. At least I think that James Harden and Joel Embiid have a big night for at least, filling up the box score. I think the other play I did like tonight was the over in the Boston LA game. It is a big number, but I expect the Boston offense to show up here tonight against the LA Lakers. Pace, I think, is going to be a big factor. We talked a lot about how the Lakers do play at a fast pace, right? They're number 3 as far as pace and possessions per game go so far this season. I think that Anthony Davis should have a big game here tonight as well. There's no real true center for the Boston Celtics, not having Al Horford or Robert Williams back yet. So I think he should have a big game here tonight. And I just expect a bounce back from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the shooters. And I think the bench is a big concern as well, right? Boston is a deep team with Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench. But after LeBron, AD, it's really a question mark on who's going to step up for the Lakers. Also was looking at Lonnie Walker 3-pointers. He's also shooting the ball pretty well for the Lakers over the past couple games. So those were a few looks I had for tonight.
You beat the buzzer. Squee, going back to that Sixers Kings one. I know you kind of lean towards the under with me. Did you have anything on the side or any looks on the side?
I was just kind of waiting to see who was going to play because I would want De'Aaron Fox in because I was looking at props really. But for the side, last 5 game stats tell me Kings have been playing slightly better, so I would lean towards them getting the points. But I didn't play this game for the side now.
Yeah, so Munaf. So the other part, Ski, is Munaf was on the over too. Some of the looks that he said, does that kind of push you to the over more?
In the Kings game? No.
No, the Lakers.
Lakers game.
Oh, the Lakers?
Yeah.
I already like it. It's just, and the thing is, it's going to continue to go up because Anthony Davis and LeBron are going to play. Mm-hmm. So
if you want the over, got to get it now.
Yeah, it's already gone up though, like 3 points, and I don't see it coming back down.
It did though, because when me, Chris, and Mitch were here earlier, I saw it at 236, and now I'm seeing some 235s. So there's some maybe buyback. 236 was some buyback. 236 was probably the peak. Yeah. All right.
Hey Munaf, I had a quick one to add just for your Embiid props and stuff. I was looking and Sixers are leading the league in turnovers last 3 games at 20. And Embiid turnovers are at 3.5 plus 120. So if we think Embiid's going to eat against the Kings, he's probably going to have the ball in his hands. He's probably going to be getting double teamed. He's probably going to be throwing the ball away. So 3.5. He hasn't hit it that many games recently since Harden's been back because he hasn't had the ball quite in his hands as much. But if we do think that he's going to be eaten, his assists are also at over 3.5 or plus money too. So if there's any alternate routes you want to look at Embiid, there's many ways to play him.
Mitch, didn't you say something about the turnovers in that game too, or was that different?
Yeah. So what was it? Last 3 games, Philadelphia is leading the league in turnovers at 20 a game. So that's since Harden came back. So they're doing something. So. I don't know. I know that their pace is slow, so they're taking less shots, but they're still, they still scored 130 over the last 3 games. So something's got to give. Something's got to give real soon. So I'm thinking that Embiid's gonna hit some turnovers tonight, and yeah.
That was another reason I took the under too, because if they're turning the ball over, that means less possessions, right? They're not gonna be able to shoot the ball too often. So that was another thing that I was kind of pushing me in that direction. So
if Kings do get Fox back though, then that's those are quick transition buckets without a lot of time coming off the clock.
Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, he practiced, but is he going to be 100%? And we don't even really know if he is going to play or if he plays tomorrow instead. Because since they're playing back to back, do they want him in the first leg or the second leg? Or which game is more important for them? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of question marks, but at the same time, I think even if he's in, regardless of if he's in or out, I think the 229 that I got it at was a little too high. So I ended up just taking it early. Regardless of whether if he gets in, the total will probably go up, but I still like it under the 229. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Anyone? I know Chris. I know you got spaces later. Anyone else got shows coming up that you want to talk about real quick or drop?
I'm gonna be on the NBA tip-off show, so I'll talk about all the games again.
Was that 1:00?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Chris spaces, Ski on Wagertalk, tip-off 1:00. I know, Munaf, I know you got your own show too, don't you?
Yeah, we got the NBA Gambling Podcast over on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Ski's been on with us a few times. We usually go around 11 a.m. Eastern time. Follow the Twitter account, or you can follow on my Twitter. Usually tweet out the link that we usually go live on. So check us out there.
All right. Well, that's the show, guys. Man, it was a good show because we had a large panel and we're able to get through a lot of stuff and I really break these games down at a high level. Hopefully you guys came out with some nice plays that we push you guys towards, or even maybe helped save you some money and talk you off something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully we all cash. With that said, this is the end of the show. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button before you bounce. Make sure you check out the links in the description. I'll try to add everybody's Twitter accounts in the description so that you guys can like add and follow these guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Whether you guys fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.